Like, so for some reason, people justify like, oh, I'm a journalist now, so I can interview male strippers, and I could, be in other people's business. We didn't respect journalists that did that. That's a choice to be a journalist, but you're not a civilian. Think about all the people that used to talk about us in journalism and do corny shit that we used to laugh at. No disrespect, but we never respected Elliot because he's not in music. Because he was talking about people. Just because you're a journalist doesn't mean you have that you can do things that you might find corny or immoral. But these are funny things. Like, Cam, you beefing with Omar Epps. No, I'm sorry. Omar, what's his name?
Gooding?
Yeah, Omar Gooden. Now, my advice there is, I know Cuba, and I would just work it out, but he's coming at you and battling. And again, advice-wise, read the room. It's not a good time to fly somebody. This would be my advice. And I gave you certain kinds of advice like this before. But I don't know what really happened. I saw clips, but I don't think it's a good time to pay someone to come someplace so that you could take them without their shirt on behind a door. And in Harlem, there'd be jokes for that. But this is not the right time to be doing that. And I would advise you, at 50, that kind of joke could be funny. But this dude now is coming at you with, I'm not a rap. You're rapping. You have a rap battle with Omar Epps, and he's calling with Omar, what's his face? What's his name? Gooden. Omar Gooden. No disrespect to Omar Gooden, because I was hearing some of the records. I was like, yo, that nigga could rap. So he's now leveraging you for another vertical of his dream. You. This is not Drake versus Kendrick. Cam, you were on Kendrick's level. You were on Drake's level. Why did you quit? Why are you battling Omar Gooding? But again, because I know Cuba, and I'm like, damn, what if, because Cuba's like good at things that you don't know that he might be like a black belt in karate. You gonna be fighting Omar and Cuba Gooding because they roll, they brothers. See, the thing that I used to do and with you was if you had a problem with somebody, then I would go squash it or they had a problem with me. So when you called me and said that Kevin Hart was bothering you and he teased you too much, I said, he knows you're with me. And the next time I saw him, I got at him.
But Cam, if he ever bothers you again, look at these Uggs right now. Don't you ever put pressure on anybody in my crew again when you're wearing these Uggs. You got on Uggs. Cam, you see him? You see him? Cam, you see him? Don't play with me.
Cam, I dare you to ask
And
Dan.
his breath stink bad right now. Ask his girl how bad his breath stink right now. This nigga eating mayonnaise gum. I don't know what's going on.
On your behalf, he's still mad at me over that. But again, if somebody's saying shit about me, you go and get money with them. Well, that's fine, but it's just not how I get down. And how I've never got down like that with you. The way we got back, because, I heard untalking and I don't know, yeah, y'all did that thing and y'all said that's fuck you shit, but I went to the side and me, you and Joe and Jim had a real conversation about it's us versus them. Don't disrespect me in front of them. That was our conversation. But the way we reconnected after that was because you went to an original member of the Best Out from 142nd Street. I'm not going to say his name because he doesn't ever want me to say his name. But he's the one that made that call for you and said, yo, Cam is fucked up and he needs your help. And then he passed you the phone. And from there, I looked out. I got you off your deal. I got you off your deal. I talked to Polly Anthony and got you off your deal. All that running up in the office is not what got you off your deal. She got fired over that deal because you were millions of dollars unrecouped. I got you off of Roc-A-Fella millions of dollars unrecouped with L.A. Reid. But None of that means anything. But my point is, any problem you had for free, I would always look out because you're from Harlem, and I looked at you as my little brother, and I still do. But this isn't the Cam that I thought that I was co-signing. I would never expect you to be this person. Like, if you're going to do something that's funny on TV, you can't get mad if your crew laughs or people that know you because it's funny. So I saw Snoop Dogg on your show and he said, "What's my motherfucking name?" And you sang the girl part. You said, pause, Snoop Doggy Dog. If no one teased you around you,
tilted brim, what's my motherfucking name?
Snoop Doggy Dog.
if no one teased you around you for that, then that's not Harlem shit. And if you get mad at the jokes, that's not fair, bro. Stay Harlem about it. If you want to do shit like that, let niggas laugh. So I know you're mad because I said 50-50 patted you. Why? He didn't pat you on the ass, pause. He patted you on the hips. Either way, my advice to you is don't let another man pat you on your hips. That's advice. Also, if you sitting with someone that's fucking with me, or saying things about me, I do expect you to actually have a conversation with them about it and make them stop. But that's not where you're from. But this is what I would always do for you. And if you do something funny, like let another man smack you on the hip, I mean, again, you know, the Queen of Harlem was like, because the thing I didn't get was I called you and told you I was going to say something, but you weren't man enough to tell me you didn't want me to say nothing. So Queen was like, yo, you should have known better. But he told me he was all right. So you're going to agree, be all right, and then talk about me on another platform instead of calling me and telling me. And then when I text you, you're going to curve me? Because I want to speak to you like a man. I call British. I spoke to PT. And now this is going to be one of the last things I'm going to get to in this moment because I got other shit to do. And I have more things I wanted to say, but I'll say them later. Because I'm sure you're going to say something back. But I'm quite, like, that thing, I felt that you were capping as it relates to the Honor Up thing. But I want to see you step up your production. If you have a platform, if you're on Revolt, if someone's giving you some bread, if you're going to be a creative and talk about other creatives, you need to be more creative. I want to see a hit record. If someone steps to you for a battle, rap-wise, take that shit, because now you're playing jokes at 50, at taking, you know, that wasn't to me something I would have advised, at least, especially in this moment. You know? So let's see the music. Let's see you make a movie, and now that you have some bread, you finally caught this lick to where now that you got a platform, you're finding every excuse in the world not to pass no plugs, to the extent that you're making shit up, to me. And if you have something to say, I don't respect it unless you call me. We're not going to fist fight. We're brothers. Talk to me like a man. Talking about me to me without calling me, and you have the opportunity to, is not the thing I want you to teach the rest of these children. I don't want the children to think that they should be taking their problems in public when they could talk to their friends. Just because you can monetize that doesn't make it okay, bro. So I don't respect it, and I know that no one around you respects what you're doing when you do those things because they're from Harlem. And when I talk to them, you know what the vibe is when it comes to you? You know how Cam is. He's sensitive. That's what everybody said. You know, my cousin was bringing up the other day when you came up and you did this dumb shit before and we had a conversation, you was crying. So I was like, I don't want to see the man cry. I give you so much grace, but you've been different ever since well, let's do this. Because your show, you're sitting next to Larry, right? I introduced you to Larry.
My name is Larry Smith, co-owner of G5 Cultivation in Las Vegas, Nevada. G5 Cultivation is one of the first African-American owned cultivations that's licensed by the state of Nevada and Clark County. So I actually met Damon Dash through my main man, Jack Thriller. Dame has been more of a mentor and a mentee in helping me take G5 Cultivation to another level. Before I wanted to get involved in the cannabis industry, I was headed towards doing movies, and that was another attraction to bring Damon G5 into the G5 family, is because Dame's doing movies. So by me letting him in the cannabis world, I told him I needed to be in the movie world. That's one of my passions.
I brought you to Las Vegas and introduced you to Larry while we were making the A-Track record, right? That's another project we did that actually was on the radio, but for some reason you didn't want to promote that. But we had concerts at like Terminal 6 and all this shit that you never did before, but for some reason you didn't want to promote that either. I just don't know why, but I did it because I didn't want to see your legacy go. That's why I always tried to help you, because the things that you do great, the only thing I've seen you do that's been since me, that's been something that's been crazy, is what you're doing now, talking about me and other people. But since then, I haven't seen none. But again, I brought you around Larry in Vegas because I was working out there with the weed company. Yeah. And he was like how he's your sidekick right now on the side. He was on the sidekick for me. I'll show you the footage. And you remember this. But what happened was Larry and I and Muddy Waters, the people that are suing me now, we all threw down on a movie, and there was a disagreement of some sort. And this is the reason why I have all these lawsuits now. And I don't like the way Larry did his business, and he hung up on me. So everyone I brought around Larry, I was like, yo, I'm not fucking with Larry. But you decided, nah, I'm gonna fuck with him anyway. And then, because we were supposed to be doing Pink Mink weed, y'all decided to do business without me. That's called backdooring somebody. And I want you to tell me about your loyalty game, how that's loyal, how much shit I've stood up for you, but when somebody disrespects me, you still work with them, they become your best friend. And you have a show, you have a platform. Larry, you could tell your side. Cam, you tell your side. But you tell me how that's any kind of loyal. Or Harlem loyal. Because Daniel was like, yo, that's your man. I mean, that was your man. You introduced me to him. You ain't fucking with him. I'm not fucking with him. You never have that attitude. And now you're being nice to everybody in the podcast industry that you used to diss all day long. But now conveniently, because you've seen the light and you know how to get money with them, now this is your new family. I would think when you get to this plug, you would pass them, because every single plug I've ever had, I passed. Every single one. And you never passed one plug. I put you in Paid in Full. I put you on Roc-A-Fella. I put you with Larry. Even the best picture you ever took with that pink, I brought you to Fashion Week and had someone take that picture. I was with you on your best interview. The one where you mad, that was you and me that did that. And you called me to make sure that that interview went right. That's why I was there. You tried to... So I don't understand why you're not saying those things. And on another level, why are you not saying that you in your lifetime have never, ever seen me struggle? You name one time you ever walked up on me and said, Dame needs help. That you saw me with dirty sneakers or a fucked up car or living wrong and not having a staff. Name one time you walked up on me and I didn't have a staff. Pause. How much footage I have, how many houses have I beat you in ping pong at? And I didn't own those houses, they were in LA. How I'm gonna own something and own the government $20 million? That doesn't make sense. Right. So, I just don't understand this new Cam. And Sen, you're right there. And I wanted to publicly apologize to you because I know I was a little abusive toward you when we were young. But I do want to say that I did give you the opportunity when I was like in my late 40s. You went and trained. You came to my house. I was like, go buy some gloves. And I went outside and gave you a fair one. You caught me in my ribs once or twice. I'm 46. You do get, but I definitely put leather on your face, and then I made my son put leather on your face. So I just know that, you know that I'm not going to be all right with this. But I want you to ask Cam, does he feel like his relationship with the way he's approaching things, especially with Larry? Because I love Larry's family. When I go to Vegas, I still talk to his son and his ex. I don't know if it's his ex or whatever, but his wife. I love his family. He took care of my son, even though I didn't want him to, but he did it anyway. But I want you to ask Cam if he thinks the way he carried this situation with Larry, and Larry, you're on the show, talk about how that was loyal to do business behind my back. Then y'all called me, told me, oh, we sold the company and I'm gonna send you some bread. You didn't. And Cam, the only time you ever given me any money other than a 50 where I had to ask for it is because they had shut one of my accounts down and I had to pay for something. I asked you, let me get 10,000 real quick so I can pay that. You sent it. I sent you 5 back, but then you ran off with Larry and we never really got to communicate. So as soon as possible, I'm gonna get you that 5 back so you don't do that unshit on me. But and then after the thing with Larry, it seems like you just changed. You start doing things different. Like when I saw you on the stage with Homeboy, and y'all both dressed up like the FOI, y'all both had on bow ties, and no disrespect to the FOI at all. But I was very surprised to see you perform on that man's B-sides dressed alike. And I was wondering if he required you to dress like that. But also I was thinking, oh, he must go and perform on one of Cam's show. As of yet, that man made you perform at his B-side show in the club in a bow tie. And he never performed at anything you've ever done. So if he does it now, I don't care. I think he should. But I do feel like, that just wasn't no Harlem shit to be dressed up like a nigga in a bow tie that you're supposed to be beefing with. And you didn't get to the Garden or no Beyonce or none of that. You did the B-sides. And I remember you like, I would never do that. What the state property did, show up to the B-side, but you did it. Everything I'm seeing you tease other people for doing, you are now doing. And one more thing that I want to put in perspective is you also brought up me saying that Kanye had horse shit in his house and you have dog shit. I did say that. And you have to, and again, very strategically, you didn't tell the context of the conversation, right? Number one, I was upset because we did honor up. You were in LA. Kanye threw me, a party, a screening, and all the most important people in Hollywood were there at the time. He was still in good standing. RZA was there. All these people were there, right? I'm talking about everybody was there. And for some reason, you got so offended because of his security process that you left. And what I was saying is you mess up so much money for the stupidest things that you were supposed to be Kanye. You were supposed to have the money that Kanye had from rapping, but you would never get your show together. Now you are starting to perform with a band, but having 100 niggas on stage don't work. And fashion. And he was the one. I'm mad at you that Kanye's the one that's the anchor of making the most money from Roc-A-Fella. And I chose you. And I was like, this nigga got horse shit in his house and you got dog shit in your house. I was angry because it was another stupid reason to fuck up money. But now that you're doing things so politically correct, you're dissing me. And I'm wondering why and what changed and how much it costs for you to go and do this for a living. And in this moment, that's all I have to say. And I'm saying it without teeth. And, I'm sure that you'll leverage this to make some money for revolting yourself and whatever you do. But I do want you to, explain these things. Ask your peers around you if what I'm saying is crazy. If you were sensitive, overly sensitive. If, doing like when I introduce you to somebody and you go do business behind my back, is that backdooring? Was there a lot of damage done to Roc-A-Fella because you prematurely talked about a private conversation? That's not cool. That's goofy. And it does seem like, based on the fact that you're not helping ever, it's always some way to hurt me and laugh it off. What, didn't you hate me all this time? Did I tease you too much to get you right? you know? But you have to admit, there's a narrative of me talking about homeboy every day. I stopped talking for 30 to like maybe 3 or 4 months. Every day I've heard my name out of everybody's mouth that says I talk about homeboy and homeboy's name all day long. So I think the narrative should be stop talking about Damon so much if you don't want to hear Damon talk. Why are y'all talking about me all day? I'm sure there's some things that happened after Roc-A-Fella that were cool. But I know that I'm probably the most influential person in every person's life that talks about me. And I love all of y'all. No problems. Every podcaster now seems, mostly, they used to be Roc-A-Fellas. So Joe Buttons was a Roc-A-Fella. Noriega was a Roc-A-Fella. Camron was a Roc-A-Fella. I used to manage Children of the Corn that Mace was in. And I tried to sign Gilly, but niggas stopped it. Who else? They're all Roc-A-Fella. It's like the Roc-A-Fella podcast. And now Bleak. And again, Bleak, you too. We made a deal, you were gonna stop talking about me, but you still say your little slick shit. It's cool. I love you. But you're working hard. I see you really out there hustling. You and me know both. If you hustled this hard back then you wouldn't have to be hustling this hard now. Instead of talking about homeboy, I believe we'd be talking about you. Same thing with Cam, same thing with Joe Buttons, same thing with Nori. But now everyone's retired from rapping professionally, and now they're all doing talk shows or podcasts. Disrespect, you found your lick, but my first impression of y'all were rock stars. People that laughed at the press, just against the grain, do whatever you want. That was that Harlem shit. And I'm still on that type of time. And again, you tell me if any one of y'all niggas talking about me ever paid $20 million. But what I do notice is that when my family office pays a lot of money, like over $500,000 in taxes, and when we pay our judgments, the family office, that's not in the paper. No one talks about that. And neither will I. But, that's what I have to say. And I love all of y'all. Y'all my brothers, and hopefully we can make a lot of money off this, and this is what y'all choose to do. Like this is what it is. But do remember, I will have teeth next week. Holla.